Jakai's a smart football player. You know, I mean, it doesn't matter where you put him. I mean, he's played out in the outside lane, in the slot, in the backfield for us. You know, the quarterback. You know, he's a smart player that can do multiple things, and he can run. Got good ball skills. So I'm excited about what he can do for us, and that's the biggest thing. You know, just what he brings to the table is the versatility of playing multiple positions.
What have you seen from Malik Benson through the tour of duty, and I guess what are the expectations for him in the spring?
You know, one of the things that Malik's done since he's been there, he's tried to lead. You know, he's been vocal. He's been a guy that encourages guys. He's been a guy that's getting guys out to, you know, go catch with the quarterbacks. And just to see that is encouraging. And I'm not even talking about what he did on the field yet. You know, but, you know, with the tour of duty, he shows explosive movements. He's done a really good job with that. I mean, finishing. And I'm excited to see what he can do this spring because, I mean, the kid's been nothing but great since he's been there.
Akeem Williams seemed like he was breaking out. Seemed like things were figured out before the injury. Is it kind of like a restart for him? Is it picking up where he left off? What are you looking for from Akeem?
Well, it's more of I say it's kind of both a restart, kind of picking up where he left off. You know, because of obviously he had the injury, and before that he really came on strong for us, and so it was kind of disappointing to see that happen to him. And but his spirits have been right in the right place. He's doing everything he's supposed to do in the training room, meeting room. He's being a pro, you know, and his approach to it is like unbelievable for a young man the way he is. Only being a sophomore, you know, and to come back and to pick up some of the things that he left off. Is really good. So I'm excited for him, and you know, just got to stay healthy.
From last tour of duty, when he first got here, he really struggled.
No, awful.
And then, you know, by August, he seemed to be getting with the program in terms of his physical abilities. Yes. Can you talk about that transition?
Well, my hat goes off to him, you know, because we were really on him, you know, about just the durability, you know, the fatigue, you know, just those different things. And we really pushed him. We challenged him that if you want to play on this level and you want to be a difference maker on this level, you know, you got to be able to play more than one or two plays and not be tired. You know, and he took on that challenge. You know, he came back, got in the meeting room, you know, worked on his technique and fundamentals. And he really did a good job for us going into training camp. You know, so I was impressed with what I saw out of him. You know, from what I saw in the tour of duty last year and up until the season and this tour of duty now. You know, he's night and day from what he was before, and it's, you know, speaks volumes about him.
You lost a lot of receiver reps. And got some talented kids coming in. How will this receiver group be different than last year's group?
Well, this receiver obviously will be, you know, faster than what we were before. And you're right, we lost a lot of big play, you know, bigger receivers, a lot of snaps on the perimeter. But I'm excited to see what these young guys can do because they're hungry. You know, and you do have some guys in that room that's had a taste of success, you know, but just not a lot of it. You know, so I'm excited to see what those guys can do because we all talk about we want more at bats. Now you're going to get the opportunity to do that, you know, and are you going to shy away from it or are you going to embrace it, you know, and take on the challenge?
What's the key for Akeem Williams to take the next step?
Just got to be consistent. He's got to be consistent in his training, being consistent, taking care of his body, which he has been. You know, now he's got to carry over to the field. You know, just being a consistent ball fetcher. You know, on the perimeter, he's got to be a physical young man. You know, with the body that he has. You know, we were doing the squat part the other day, and I'm like, dang, like I wish my body looked like that. You know, but now he's got to go out and just put it on display.
Some of the young guys, like a Fryer, for example, or others. Can you talk about those guys and what they bring to the table?
Well, when you talk about Cam Fryer, man, like he works his tail off. Like, I mean, unbelievable work ethic. You know, he tries hard, he strains, he's tough. You know, and you just see, when you look at him work, you see a bad case of the wants. You know, just a blue collar, just hard nosed, just coach, don't give me anything, I'm gonna go out and work for it. You know, and I'm excited for him. and because that kid really worked his butt off in the tour of duty. Then B.J. Gibson is one as well. Kind of both did a little bit of baseball and football. Probably a little bit more football. And B.J. early on in the tour of duty was a little slower. Kind of catching on, but he's come along as well. Both of those guys in the squad party probably did the most out of all the receivers. Maybe all the skill guys. But they're both strong, young men. I'm excited for them. When you talk about LaWayne McCoy, he's missed a couple of days because of a couple of things, sick. But he still didn't miss a beat. In the tour of duty, we sent him back, multiple times. Every time the rep looked the same as far as his effort. And that's what you love to see out of when you bring those young guys in. And I think it's a good group of guys that want to work, guys that want to get better, and guys that's actually going to compete. So I'm really looking forward to those guys, battle this spring.
What were the biggest things that jumped out when you started kind of recruiting and looking at Malik?
Well, I looked at Malik a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And before he decided to go, to another school. And the first thing he said when he got here was like, "Coach, I should have came to Florida State." I'm like, no S. I told you that. And his explosive movements, and the way he practiced. And those was one of the things when you look at a receiver, how does he practice? When you go out and you're evaluating the guy, and his ball skills was really good, and he can run. And not as vocal as he is now of a leader, but when you look at his explosive movements, you're like, wow, like he can really impact us and help us this year. So that's what I saw in him early on when we were recruiting.
When you talk about ball skills, coaches use that term a lot, and I think sometimes we listeners don't always understand what they mean by ball skills. Can you explain that to us? What do you mean by ball skills?
Well, when you talk about catching the football, it's all about technique, hand placement. Are you just catching? Are you tracking the ball with your eyes or just your hands? So when you talk about having those ball skills, some guys just have it; they're natural ball catchers, and some guys you got to work on it, more than others. So those are the things that you look for skill set wise. I'm always tracking the football, where that ball is. Am I using my hands? And basically really your fingertips, just having limber fingertips, not catching with the balls of my hands, when you talk about tracking and catching the football.
Is it also when to jump and high pointing the ball, that kind of thing, timing?
Right. And when you watch on film and you're recruiting, does the guy go up and high point the football, or does he jump and catch the ball with his body? Is he a body catcher? Or does guys catch the ball away from their body? So those are some of the things that you look for and that you teach, when a young man gets here, when you see it.
I know you mentioned Malik earlier. What have been some of your first impressions of him and Jalen Brown since they arrived at Florida State?
Well, when you talk about Malik, obviously he's played more than Jalen. He's been on the field more, and not as many balls, thrown his way. But he's come in and he's shown that he could be a leader and lead that group, by his actions, and not just talking about it, So just one of the things that he's done is he's taken ownership in it, and his approach to everything that he's done since he's been here has really been on point. I know we hadn't put on the pads yet, and really that's what I'm waiting on.
Coach Norvell talked about